This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me this evening is Tyler Maxson. And Tyler, we are approaching the halfway stage of the season. We're here at Indianapolis bike circuit, a circuit that I imagine not too many people are familiar with. But it's certainly got its distinct characteristics, a lot of slow to medium pace corners. And in this MX5, you've also got that really long pit straights as well. So overtaking will be of plenty.
Yeah, overtaking will definitely be in abundance here at the Indy bike circuit. There's also a lot of straightaways here. There's a good amount of corners, but there is some very, very long straights, like you said. So the draft should be absolutely huge in these MX5s. And we have a very, very big field tonight. 46 cars will take the green flag here tonight for race number 1 of the evening. And as qualifying's just getting finished up, and as we wait for the grid to get sorted, we'll just take a look at the championship.
Yes, because it's Jack Ashton after 68 of 144 races. So like I said, after today, we'll be at the halfway stage of the season. So Ashton is leading. He's about 160 points ahead of Kip Stevens, which isn't that much. That's 4,900 to 4,700 pretty much. So pretty close at the top there. Jason Cooper, Luke Cooper, and Dave Hampson rounding out the top 5. So watch out for those drivers. And in the AM Championship, of course, Jurien Ursum has got quite a comfortable margin. He's got 4,000 points. Carl Hardy in second has got 3,400. So quite a bit difference there between those two drivers. Then it's Ayres, Malcolm, and Mias rounding out the top 5 there. Those are the AM drivers. So it might be a little bit further down the order, but still very competitive drive. Every single one of these are very experienced as well. This championship going on for quite a while, got quite a history to it. We'll now go through the grid for race 1 of the evening. That's Jack Ashton on the pole position with Jason Cooper alongside him. Brian Holmes starts in 3rd place with Adam McNally in 4th. Then it's Nick McKern, Luke Cooper, Dave Hampson, Carl Yakulek, good qualifying for him, Wouter Van Essen, and Adam Delmont rounding out the top 10 there. It's Baxter, Cameron Van Gool, Mias, Boer, Rizzo, Hendy, Key, and Ursum and Brown rounding out the top 20, and the rest of your drivers will go through for you now. And yeah, we're just gridding up, got a few more drivers to get on the grid, but well, Jack Ashton at the front of the championship, Tyler, and this is the point in the championship where you do really want to get some good results under your belt and start building a bit of a cushion out in the lead.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things, though. This championship is so long, it means that there's 4 races per night. These drivers don't really have to worry. If they do have one bad race, they have so many more that they can make up for it, especially if they have one bad race at the beginning of the night. They really don't have to worry about making the next few races because they do have some time to bounce back from a bad result. And as the gridding is just about completed here, we're just waiting on a couple more drivers to grid up. Then we'll get ready to go lights on here in Indianapolis.
It's quite a sight seeing all those drivers on the pit straight. These massives are so small that they barely take up any room, it must be said, on the pit straights. But we could be in for a fantastic 15-minute race. Of course, we've got 3 more races after this one. All will have a reverse grid applied to them. Seemingly Abulkir Al-Amri hasn't got to the grid yet, so hopefully he will do. Although he might just miss race 1, and it does seem as though he has done that. So, race 1 of the evening here at Indianapolis. It's Ashton from the pole position, Cooper from second, and away we go at Indianapolis. And it's a very good start for Ashton. Straight away pulls away from the rest of the field, but there's going to be a big slipstream effect going down into turn 1. A long corner, watch out for contact into turn 2 as they switch direction again, as Ashton holding on against Cooper, who tried to go round the outside into turn 1. Is there any contact going into 2? We've had 3 wide just in the background there, but they seem to have got through mostly by a little bit of contact amongst a couple of the drivers. Are now spinning back onto the circuit. It's a sim lap car, and now there is contact right at the rear of the field. But seemingly most drivers getting away without incident. I think that was maybe Ursum getting involved. So one of the front runners in the AM Championship having a poor start. Here's Craig Cameron trying to hold on to his position, but just losing it out down the inside there. But yeah, not the cleanest start in the world, Tyler, but not too bad.
Yeah, definitely not too bad for these drivers, as the battle for the lead is starting to slip away here. Jack Ashton really starting to stretch his legs here. He's got a great first sector, being that he was out in the lead, had no one in front to hold him off. But then it's Jason Cooper who will slot into second, and then Brian Holmes into third. So Holmes with another good start. McCarron actually had a pretty bad start there, so he dropped down 3 spots. Really not the greatest start from him.
Yeah, and also Adam Delmont gaining 3 positions up into 7th place. You can see the field already spreading out quite significantly. Didn't quite expect that one, but maybe just shows the type of corners around this circuit. Lots of kind of medium speed corners, and of course this part of the circuit also gets pretty fast as well. Lots of left-handers, one after the other. Of course, it's the opposite of the Grand Prix circuit that became famous in IndyCar and Formula 1. So we got Cesar Rizzo, who was in the top 20 at the start, but he's dropped right to the back as Niles Carstensen almost into the wall. Cones go flying as they head down the pit strip for the first time.
And Jason Cooper here having to try to defend off Brian Holmes. Holmes really looking for a move here on Cooper, and he is going to have the inside, though, down into turn number 3. He's not going to be able to make this move work. This is such a tight section. It's really a 1-car section here, not really a place where 2 cars should be going through, and Jason Cooper is able to hold on to second place, but Jack Ashton still holds off them by 0.7 of a second, so he's had a great start from him. He's really starting to pull away from the rest of this field.
Yeah, if he can just get that lead to about 1 second, he might be able to break the draft, and down that pit straight, he won't lose quite as much time as he did on this lap, where he lost a few tenths of a second. Cooper's certainly got the pace to maybe challenge him, but if they keep on fighting, yeah, they could start losing a bit of time. So it's Excite iRacing ahead of Swift Cooper Esports, ahead of a couple more Excite iRacing. How many times have we said that with those 2 teams going at battle? As into turn 10 they go. And then this rest of the lap is so difficult to make the move. You can see slightly different line there from Ashton, going slightly wider into the right-hander, and then a little bit tighter into turn 11.
Yeah, so he is taking a bit of a different line there, so
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network. Apologies for those technical issues, which caused us to miss a little bit of this race. But I can tell you right now, Jack Ashton and Jason Cooper going side by side, going into turn 1 with Brian Holmes just in 3rd position. And in fact, Cooper has just taken the lead here at Indianapolis. This race 1 of the BSR MX5 Master Pro Series. And we're very pleased that you're joining us for this evening's racing. But yeah, currently a trio of cars out in the lead. Jason Cooper now leading ahead of pole sitter Jack Ashton. Not too many collisions from what I noticed. And yeah, that's the only major change of position out in the lead since we were gone momentarily. But should be a very exciting final 7 minutes to this race.
yeah, so should be a good end to this race. Again, I do apologize for that one there. We did have a bit of technical issues, and I don't quite know what's going on with the issues of the overlay right now. So I'm just going to quickly be resetting that overlay and trying to get it all back running. Again, sorry about that one. Had a bit of issues with the Restream server, but I do believe we're back now, and we should be all good to go. So again, apologize for that one, and we are just getting back into the swing of things.
Yes, and all the that's Ben Mears has had an off. Oh, sorry, that's not Ben Mears. That's Pete Spangul just going off the circuit. Mears currently running in second place out of the club drivers. And out in the lead, actually, Cooper has pulled away a little bit from Ashton. Half a second gap between the front two drivers. So Cooper Esports versus Excite iRacing. It's an Excite iRacing. 2-3-4 currently with Swift Cooper Esports just occupying that first and sixth positions. That could be very important for the championship, as we were talking about earlier on with Ashton currently leading the way. Just, starting lap starting lap 6 of this race now, with a few drivers just picking up a slowdown as they negotiate the tricky final corner. And like I said, yeah, still Cooper leading the way with, certainly the front two now pulling away from the rest of the field. Certainly turning into a two-horse race with Brian Holmes seemingly struggling to keep up at this point in the event. Yeah, currently watching Ben Mears chasing down Wouter van Essen with Max Bohr just on his tails. We see a little bit of side-by-side as well just behind with Pete Spangul seemingly having a bit of a hard time of it at the moment. Losing out to Adrian Hendy seemingly. And he has now lost, just hanging on to that position for now, but having a few tough laps at the moment is the SimLab driver. That's the top two continue to pull away. Now here comes Mears to the outside of Wouter van Essen. Has to look every which way. Certainly one of the main overtaking spots on the circuit into turn 10 round this circuit, and then through 11 around the rest of this circuit. Just kind of right-handers with a single left for the drivers to negotiate. And Mears keeping his rival very honest. This is the battle for the top 10 positions currently, 10th place. As Yacolet just ahead as well. Of course, currently I'll do a rundown on the order. Currently, Jason Cooper leading the way with Jack Ashton in second place. Brian Holmes is in third with Adam McNally and Nick McCann rounding out the top 5. That's the top 5 in the pro standings, or in the overall standings, really. And then in the AM standings, it's Carl Yacolet leading the way ahead of Ben Mears, Rafe Cullinan, and then Billy Rose and Carl Hardy in 5th place. Here comes Mears round the outside. That's going to be a brave move. Such a wide circuit this, of course, at Indianapolis, not usually home to such small cars as the MX5. Really does open up plenty of opportunities for some unorthodox overtakes.
Yeah, definitely. Again, sorry, we're still trying to sort out some overlay issues. Right now, the overlay not seeming to want to work out for us right now, so just going to shut it off just for the time being until I can get this fixed and back up and running. So sorry again for the issues. We are trying to figure these out. Don't quite know what happened.
Now, yes, still 2 minutes to go in the race, though. And, we'll try to address those issues for races 2, 3, and 4, because we've still got 3 more races coming up this evening. And, of course, a reverse grid applied to each of those, a reverse grid applied to each of those races based on the results of the previous race. It's getting really close on Van Essen currently. But just starting in behind. Of course, he can't wait for the slipstream down into turn 1 potentially. As they now start their 8th lap of this race. Still out in the lead is Jason Cooper. He's actually pulled away a little bit from Jack Ashton, so the driver who was running in 2nd place, struggling to hold on to the leader, it seemed, earlier on. He's really coming home to the race victory surely now as they negotiate the first half of the lap. Jack Ashton in 2nd place. Brian Holmes is in 3rd with Adam McNally close on his tail. Got this nice battle now between Cameron, Yacolet, Van Essen, and Mears as well. As a side-by-side now, almost contact between these two as they head back onto the road parts of the track, off the oval. Yacolet actually getting that move done on Cameron. So the AM driver moving up to 7th place overall. A terrific drive from Yacolet. I was saying how good his qualifying was earlier on, and some useful points certainly for him. And he's certainly going to be within that reverse grid, unlike the championship leader, Jeroen Ursum, going into race 2. So it could be a fantastic points haul for him today. Mears going defensive against Bohr. And Bohr's going to go all the way around the outside into turn 11. This could be a very nice move here from Max Bohr. And he gets the inside into 11, and that is a fantastic move on Mears.
Yeah, just so everyone out there knows, we are having now a bit of issues with the software for the overlay, so can't switch drivers at the moment. So right now we are focusing on Jack Ashton. Do apologize for that one. Don't quite know what happened there. When the overlay software went down, it seemed that everything went down, and I believe that is the end of the race for these drivers. I believe it will be Jason Cooper who will come home with the win. Again, do apologize for that one. Not anything that we can really control on the end. When software issues hit, it's definitely difficult to control those. So do apologize. We'll have them all sorted out for race 2, and race 2 should be coming up here in just a few moments' time.
Yes, so yes, Cooper winning out ahead of Ashton and Brian Holmes. That's the podium. And then in the end, that big battle that we were just watching, Yacolet, Cameron, Van Essen, Bohr, and Mears. They ended in that order. 8th place down to 12th. So nice show put on by those guys. It was good that we were stuck on Ben Mears because he ended up having a pretty entertaining race in the end. And so the drivers just completing their laps at the moment. And soon we'll go through your final standings. And then after that, of course, we'll find out what the reverse grid is for race 2. That'll set the order for the starting grid for race 2. So yeah, it could be very important that. And a few drivers who had some minor issues managed to recover a few places though, and they could be very dangerous going into that race 2. As we usually see in this series, we usually see 4 different winners, and could certainly be the case today as well. It was Carl Yacolet, by the way, leading, winning out in the AM drivers. As we can now go through your results. I'm not sure if these will show on your screen. Apologies, but I'll read them out at least. But Jason Cooper, yet one out. First position for him. Jack Ashton was in 2nd. Brian Holmes in 3rd. Adam McNally finished in 4th place with Nick McKern rounding out the top 5. Nice battle those 3 had. Luke Cooper finished in 6th. There's Adam Delmont in 7th. Carl Yacolet, top of the Amjazz. Fantastic result for him in 8th. Craig Cameron finished in 9th with Wouter van Essen finishing in 10th place. Behind that was Max Bohr, Benjamin Mears, Adrian Hendy, Pete Van Gool. Christian Brown was in 15th place. Then Stuart Dick, Jamie Ayres, Dave Cullen, Ashley Beard, Billy Rose rounding out the top 20. There's Jaroslav Chebula, Charles Kellyman, Kip Stevens, Carl Hardy, Liam Silkston in 25th. Niles Carstensen was in 26th. There's Ben Sharp, Cesar Rizzo, Andy Maxwell, and Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 30. Then behind that was Michael Barry, Rob Graham, Max Wright, David Ayres, Roy Verke, Jeroen Ursum, a mare for him, but he was the last driver on the lead lap. So if we get a full reverse grid, or maybe a 40-car reverse grid, he will be on pole position, so it could still be a very good race 2 for him. The drivers who were 1 lap down was Joe McDonald, and then 2 laps down was Josh Rayfield, and then really the retirees were Steve Heppard, Martin MJ Sampson, Charlie Summers, James McRitchie, Steve Baxter, Michael Keat, David Hampson, and Abelkir Al-Amri did not take the starts. Not sure, Tyler, are we going to be able to do the reverse grid?
We do have the reverse grid, so reverse grid's now up on our screen. Let's roll the reverse grid wheel. Let's see where these drivers are going to end up here for race 2. Again, apologize for the issues that we have. We'll have it all sorted out here for race number 2 of the evening coming up in just a few moments' time. That is going to be a 45 place reverse grid here for those drivers. So 45 will be the number here that will be reversed. So where does that put the drivers, Sam?
Well, that means that it's a full reverse grid, and as I was saying, Jane Ursum has benefited massively from that. Had a troublesome lap 1, but still stayed on the lead lap, and he will take pole position for race 2 of the evening. It'll be Roy Revertke alongside him on the front row, with David Ayres and Max Wright forming the second row. So you certainly do not want to miss that. We'll try to sort out the few technical issues we had in race 1 for race 2 of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. See you then.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Clapton is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Paravolca. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the Paravolca. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We were just gridding up for Race 2 after a full reverse grid was applied to the finishing results of Race 1. And it's Joe McDonald then on pole position with Jerome Ursum in second place. Then it's Rover Verke, David Ayres, Max Wright, Rob Graham, Michael Barry, Scott Malcolm, Andy Maxwell. Cesar Rizzo rounding out the top 10, and then it's Ben Sharp, Niles Carstensen, Liam Silkston, Carl Hardy, Kip Stevens, Charles Kellyman, Jaroslav Chebula, Billy Rose, Ashley Beard, and Rafe Cullinan rounding out the top 20 drivers. And once again, we got a absolutely massive field out there for Race 2 of the evening.
Yeah, we do absolutely have a nice big field out here for Race 2 with Joe McDonald on the pole, so good start for him. And I think, there we go, lights are getting ready to come on here for race number 2, and they are away. Joe McDonald, nice start from him. He will get away nicely as the pro drivers will now have to make their way through the AM drivers, but is an all-AM top 6. Then we get to our first pro drivers, Niels Carstensen, who doesn't have the greatest of starts as everyone's starting to fan out and make their way through the tight turn 1.
Yeah, breaking into turn 2, this is where we saw some issues last time. And so difficult to get the car stopped. Now the circuit considerably there, and then of course you go through this tight hairpin. We have got a car around, but fortunately just getting stuck on the inside of the circuit, so I don't think too much of a pile up there as we go back near to the front. 3 wide in many of the areas. Niles Carstensen up against Michael Barry and also Max Wright as well. Those 3 side by side down into this next corner, potentially going a little bit wide as down the inside there I think was Liam Silkston, seeing an opportunity out of move as Carstensen goes round and drops right to the rear of the field. Painful for him, but beneficial to a field of drivers. Dave Cullinan is up 12 places already, up into 8th place. He's the big gainer from this opening lap, but it's Joe McDonald still leading the way out in front.
Yeah, McDonald out in the lead, and there's someone off into the barriers back there. Can't quite tell who that was. I think that was actually, that was Luke Cooper. So Luke Cooper off and into the barrier there. So unfortunate start for him, as we're seeing a lot of drivers really mixing it up here as they head through one of the more tight sections of the racetrack. This is definitely an easy section to mess up and make a mistake in. This isn't the first race, though, that we saw. Where in race number 1, we saw your leader really check out here on lap 1. They've all pretty much stayed close in race 2, and it is still Joe McDonald leading over Jerome Ursum and Rob Graham. That is your top 3. And there's McDonald really hard, and that's Ursum. Ursum's off, and he's spun it round, so Ursum with a big issue there, and he is off.
Yep. They had an awful race 1, did Jerome Ursum, the AM Championship leader, and he's having a bit of a mare today. Out in the lead, it's very close between McDonald and Graham. Might be side by side down into turn 1. It's Graham on the inside, Graham around the outside, McDonald on the inside, and Rob Graham has taken the lead there from 6th place on the grid. He was 6th place out of the AM drivers, but he's absolutely made a storming start. As now on the inside now goes David Ayres. But there's no way through there, because now it turns into the outside for this next corner. You've got to drive so much further on the outside of that corner. And McDonald acting as a little bit of the cork in the bottle at the moment, because he's holding up Ayres behind. Now at 1.6 seconds separate the top 2. So a real opportunity here for Rob Graham to claim a race victory. McDonald's still doing a really good job at holding back Ayres. And around this part, it's ever so difficult to get the move done. Just behind Liam Silkston under pressure from Stuart Dick. But, yeah, side by side, a little bit further down, Max Wright as well, having brought in a bit of a battle. He's going down the inside, will turn into the outside for this next one. As Adrian Hendy, I think, just dropping down the order. There he is.
Guess Hendy had a bit of an off there, as we're looking at Jason Cooper trying to mow around the outside of Max Wright. He's also got McNally coming down the inside, so they're going to be 3 wide now. Oh, that's not going to fit through their ways. And it is Cooper who's actually going to lose out the most there. He's also going to lose out another position to Jack Ashton. So it's McNally making up some good moves there. Cooper now having to defend from Jack Ashton. Ashton is going to be able to make a move, but that was not a good section there for Jason Cooper. He lost a lot of positions. Now he's got to move himself back up again, and that is all the way down for those drivers, down in 20th place. So they are really far down the order, and as you said, Rob Graham with a nice lead. He's 1 second now ahead of Joe McDonald, who is starting to close the gap down, but Ralph Cullinan now looking down the inside of David Ayres. That's not what he wants. He's just not going to have it clear, though. Ayres is going to be able to pull back in line, and the 2 result clothing cars are going to go single file through turn 1. Peter Van Gool trying to get by Billy Rose. Rose on the outside, Van Gool on the inside. And that should give Van Gool the position. I think Van Gool's just going to be able to pull ahead. Yes, he is. He's going to be able to slot back in line and get himself down to the braking zone. There's just a bit of contact there between Billy Rose and Peter Van Gool. Now it's going to give Mears the opportunity to possibly look by Billy Rose. Not going to be able to do that. And as they're all just going to slot themselves back in line. The battle for the lead is still not over. Rob Graham is up into the lead. Joe McDonald is there in second. He's only a 10th behind Rob Graham, though. So Graham going to have to be defending here from McDonald, but Ayres is also moved himself up into 5th place. He is your leading pro driver right now. His closest competitor for that is in 8th place, and that is in the form of Kip Stevens. So Ayres really having a nice start here. He's moved himself up 16 places up his starting position. You can see the gain and the loss of all the drivers. We're seeing a lot of drivers make up a lot of positions here early on, as they all sort themselves out, and that's someone around. I think that is Charles Kellyman. So Kellyman, I think, has spun around, or is that David Ayres? David Ayres has spun around, so apologies for that one. Missed that one there. David Ayres around. He's going to lose a lot of time. See if I can't queue up a replay of that one. We got that one to look at later on in the evening. But as they work their way on to lap 4, it is Rob Graham leading over Joe McDonald. McDonald trying the outside through turn 1. It's the long way around. It's difficult to make that one stick. But I think McDonald may just be able to do it, as he's got the inside now for turn number 2. This is a very, very tight section, and McDonald's around, almost around. He catches the car beautifully. That's also Jamie Ayers moving himself up into second place. He's had a great big time of that one. He's able to get by Ralph Cullinan, and with Joe McDonald having that half spin, he's able to make up two spots there in the space of 2 corners. So now he is going to be chasing down your leader, Rob Graham. This is still the battle for the lead, and that's Hardy into the back of McDonald there. Let's actually ride on board here with Carl Hardy. So he tries to make the move here. I think that's actually going to be Kip Stevens going by him, so sorry about that one. Kip Stevens able to make up a couple positions there with after that contact. Craig Cameron also trying to make up a move here on, I think that's Carl Jacqueline. So Cameron trying to make up the move. This is the really, really tight midfield battle. Everyone really, really trying to make up moves. This is in 26th place. So that just shows how deep the competition goes in this field. Craig Cameron trying to get by Jack Ashton there. Cameron on the inside, Ashton on the outside, and that's, I think that's Barry around. So one driver around, that was Barry. So he's had a big, big incident there. That is unfortunate there for him. Seeing a lot of contact there, and that just shows a little bit of a mistake can cost you a lot. This is now, we're going to judge back here to the battle for the lead. Jamie Ayers getting by Rob Graham down the inside. Ayers is going to clear him before they even get to turn number 1. So Ayers into the lead. His closest competitor for the pro class is Kip Stevens, is down in 4th place. Both of them moving up a lot of positions here off the start. Stuart Dick and then Peter Van Gool, but that's Joe McDonald down the inside of Peter Van Gool. Van Gool had the inside though for the next corner. Mears is also trying to make the move on Hardy. They all get a little bit sideways. So I believe Sam is having some issues. We do have Alex Simpson here in the booth with us. Alex, welcome to the commentary booth. As there's Mears and Hardy off and into the wall. So it's all kicking off here.
Hello guys, sorry, I thought I'd jump in while Sam disconnected. We just can't seem to catch a break at the minute. Can we with a little issue? So yeah, hopefully Sam's connection will be back up and he'll be in. But yeah, a couple of guys there, just face first into the wall. Not what you want on race number 2. But yeah, Ayers having a good one. Obviously, when I was watching it on the broadcast, it was Graham that had a sizable lead. So interesting to see that he wasn't able to quite hold on to it. But obviously, we know how quick Ayers is. So Graham still got that win in the, well, as I was saying, it's not in the bag. Cullinan's right there as well, just 6/10 off. So it's anyone's game in for that class, that's for sure.
Yeah, and also that big midfield battle. I mean, there is a huge midfield battle. It pretty much stretches all the way from 10th and pretty much all the way down to 26th place with just a few tenths separating almost every single driver out on the field. The front few have kind of spread out just a little bit, but everyone else is super, super close.
Yeah, as is pretty much always the case, I think, with this series, isn't it? You're guaranteed that you're going to have battles no matter where you look on the track. Oh, few cars involved there. Who was that? I think Ashton was one of those.
I believe Ashton was involved, so that's going to definitely hamper his progress. Yeah, he's back to 26th place. I believe he was up into like 17th. So he did lose quite a bit of time there as Peter Van Gool down the inside of Stuart Dick, and he will get that move done and move himself up into 5th place. But just as you said, Rob Graham, he's got a little bit of company here in the form of Ralph Cullinan. So if he definitely doesn't have the AM win in the bag, but he's got a pretty good shot at it.
Yeah, just needs to stay cool, really. Try and stick as close to Ayers as he possibly can. Of course, if he's got the draft of Ayers, it's very, very difficult for Cullinan to get by. The minute he loses that, a little bit wide, and it's going to be an issue. You know, he's going to be very, very vulnerable. So, a couple of sloppy corners. It's not helped his case there. Switch back to a battle a little bit further back. Dave Hampson right in the thick of things as well. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some positions changed here and there, but one little mistake, and you can lose. What I do like this circuit. Obviously, a bit of a unique sort of layout we've gone with the moto version. Oh, someone off to the left. One of the Northern Lights cars there. Looks like it was Rose dropping down the order. So, yeah, Rose with a problem. You can see, looks like he might have some damage on that car as well.
Yeah, I believe he may have a bit of damage. So really, really unfortunate. We're seeing drivers make those little mistakes. So it must be very, very easy to make those mistakes here at this track. It is one of those more difficult tracks due to it not being usually run in this format. It's usually run in the forward format that we see. It's been so famously used by the Formula One and IndyCar series. So not too often is this circuit used. I'm sure drivers are still having to get up to speed with the racing on this circuit. As you can see, Steve Hefford, Adam McNally, and Adam Delmont, they're all fighting for position here. Actually, that's Carl Jacquelet, Adam Delmont, and Adam McNally and Steve Hefford, sorry. But Hefford making up a position there on McNally, and Jacquelet still leading out this train.
Yeah, the wide line through what is turn 1 there for Hefford. And thought he was going to try a little cut back there, but couldn't quite manage to make it stick. Look at the battle just in the background as well. So, yeah, wherever you look, there's something going on. 1.5 seconds now at the gap, though, Rafe. Cullinan's surely going to have an opportunity to try and get this and win with only what is about a lap and a half of this race to go.
Yes, only about 1.5 laps to go, and Ralph Cullinan, he is right on the back of Graham. But Ayers is starting to run away with the pro win here, even though Kip Stevens is just now catching up to the rear of this train. I just don't think he's going to have enough time to catch up to Jamie Ayers. We know how fast Ayers is, and being that he does have a 1.8 second advantage, it's going to be very, very difficult to catch him. As Graham runs wide, that's going to give Cullinan a little bit of an opportunity there. He's going to try around the outside. Very, very difficult to do. Obviously, we know that is kind of a difficult corner to make it work around the outside, and Stevens is now going to go side by side with Cullinan. And Stevens just isn't going to be quite up alongside enough to make the move. It is definitely difficult to hold it around the outside on any corner in this racetrack because it really doesn't ever switch back and benefit you, apart from maybe this corner, but then you're going to be hurt going down the straightaway. And Cullinan is going to make it work, though, and Graham is going to be down into second place in the AMs, heading on to the final lap of the race.
Yeah, of course, this could quite easily switch back into Rob's favour here. He just needs to get a good run, see if he can get by. Obviously, he won't want Kip trying to get involved in this battle, but I think Kip's going to make it very, very interesting. White flag comes out. Ayers now with 3.7 seconds. That just goes to show how slow that lap was for those guys with all this battling. But Stevens up the inside of both of them. He's going to get both positions here. And, oh, is he? Because actually, Rob Graham fighting really aggressively, wants to hold on to this. Doesn't really need to battle Kip. His main priority is Rafe, and actually having Cullinan in between, Stevens in between him is absolutely perfect. Another little battle going on as well. Hampson and Carterson as well. They're battling for what is 11th and 12th place.
Yeah, we'll jump back to the battle for second place in the lead in the AM group. And yeah, just as you said, having Stevens in between them is definitely what Graham wants. Is one more driver for them to get in between. But another driver trying to make up some time here is Stuart Dick. He's at the rear of this train. Jason Cooper as well at the rear of this train. So those two could really make up some positions here if Stevens gets kind of shuffled back, being that he is in the middle of the AM driver's lead. If they're not able to, it's Jason Cooper, though, down the inside of Stuart Dick, and he will move himself up into 5th place. He's up 32 spots. That is an impressive comeback.
Yeah, none too shabby at all. So, don't know how you can make up that many. Just goes to show the size of the grid we have here as well. So, yeah, some really big movers. I mean, Hampson on 34. So, very, very good. Brown dropping down the order. We just see some issues going on there. This little battle, Stevens, he wants second on track. He doesn't want to be beaten by the AM driver of Rob Graham, but I think he might well be bested here. Runs in a little bit hot. Cullinan, he just can't fight with the person he really wants to. Stevens has almost denied him of that opportunity, but there's going to be one heck of a draft run down here as Jamie Ayers heads towards the start-finish line. He's going to come across and take race number 2 victory here. We're almost going to be 3 wide, but I think it is going to be just Rob Graham. And yeah, check out the records at the end.
Really, really nice drive from him. And as we're just going to look at this other battle, and there's another battle, Liam Silkston, Jeroen Ursum. They're going to be 2 wide, 2 back here as they cross the line. So great battling all the way through this field. Everyone really, really keeping it close. We did have quite a bit of retirees in this field, so a lot of drivers not eligible for the reverse grid. Just as everyone does cross the line there, and that's someone getting spun around. I believe that was Luke Cooper spinning Roy Ververke. So a big spin for there. But as we just wait on the final few drivers to cross the line, we will get some replays of some of the action points in the race. Let's jump into a replay of what happened to David Ayres. See what happened to him whenever he unfortunately hit the wall.
Yeah, I think this was just as I sort of joined in with it, so I missed it the first time round. Oh, yeah, just sort of 3 into 1, doesn't go. And then when you're just facing the traffic in the wrong direction, you're just absolutely hoping for the best that no one hits him. And to be fair, no one really has there. So, yeah, very, very patient from David. A lot of drivers would have tried to spun that round and just gone for it. But, yeah.
And there's what happened there to Adam Delmont. Some contact with, can't quite tell who that was just ahead of him. But that did cost him to lose a lot of time. And that's Cesar Rizzo. Another driver having a crash, and that one he did have this one all by himself. So let's see what happened to him on this crash. Just goes a little bit wide, so not quite a crash there. And the race results are now ready for us, so we will go ahead and jump into the final race results of the evening. And it will be Jamie Ayres who will take the win by 3.9 seconds over Kip Stevens. Rob Graham will come home in 3rd, and Ralph Cullinan in 4th. Jason Cooper will round out your top 5 with Stuart Dick in 6th. Peter Van Gool in 7th. Carl Yacolet in 8th. Adam McNally in 9th. Joe McDonald will round out your top 10. Dave Hampson in 11th. Max Bore in 12th. Niels Carstensen 13th. Mikey Key, Adam Delmont, Josh Rayfield, Charles Kellyman. Then it will be Jeroen Ursum in 18th place. Ashley Beard in 19th. Liam Silkston will round out your top 20. Stephen Baxter, Ben Sharp, Jarzal Sebula in 23rd. Nick McCarron, Scott Malcolm, Brian Holmes, David Ayres, Andy Maxwell, Roy Ververke, Charlie Summers, that will be your top 30. Luke Cooper, Martin Sampson, Cesar Rizzo, and the drivers who are 1 lap down will be Max Wright, James McRitchie, Christian Brown, Jack Ashton, Craig Cameron, Billy Rose, Adrian Hendy, and then the drivers 2 laps down or more are Steve Heffert, Carl Hardy, Benjamin Mears, Michael Barre, and Wouter van Essen. So that will be your results there, and we'll just get ready to get the reverse grid up and running. So reverse grid now up on your screen. Let's go and roll the reverse grid wheel and see who will be on the pole for next race. And it will be a full minus, actually it'll be a 45, so it just clicks over there in the end. And it is a 45 place reverse grid. And that should put Adrian Hendy on the pole. So Adrian Hendy will be on the pole alongside Billy Rose and Craig Cameron. That'll be your top 3. Jack Ashton and Christian Brown. That will be your top 5 for race number 3 of the evening. Had to think about that one there for just a second. So we have just a few commercials to run through and a short break before we get back in here for race 3 of the BSR MX5 Pro Series here in Indianapolis. Don't go anywhere.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lead to the inside.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series. We are just about to get underway for race 3 of the evening. It's Adrian Hendy on the pole position ahead of Billy Rose out here. And the green flag is now out here at Charlotte's. And Hendy gets a decent start just ahead of Rose. Going side by side is Cameron and Ashton. Currently Ashton, one of the dark horses perhaps for this race, or one of the favourites for this race, due to starting really high up, one of the fastest drivers out there. But Hendy away well. Can Ashton challenge going into turn 2? And going wide there is Rose. So Ashton straight up into second position in the Excite Racing driver. A fantastic start there. My name is Sam Spatching. Alongside me is Tyler Maxson. And Tyler, once again, we've got Brian Holmes having a bit of an issue. He's dropping down the order. And also Roy Verberke, but I think that's about it in terms of the crashes.
Yep, and I believe that we are back on again. So sorry, we have had one more issue with our restream server. I believe I'm just going to go to YouTube if we do have another issue again. So do apologize for that one again. Don't quite know what's going on with it. But we are back again live. But yes, just as the race is getting all kicked off here, Andy Maxwell moving up some positions. We're seeing a lot of drivers really move up positions here off the start. And we're seeing a lot of the pro drivers, just like last time, having to make their way back through the grid, which is what those pro drivers do just so well.
What a terrific battle. This is going into turn 2. We're going to have a bit of contact between the 22 and the 72 car. They've got one car around, but unfortunately skating off the circuit. Also one driver in the gravel as well. Apologies, I couldn't see who that was. Maybe Charlie Summers just getting caught up in that one. I think Scott Malcolm also just losing a position, as Jack Ashton, by the way, has taken the lead of the race. So it's Ashton who leads after lap 1, with Adrian Hendy and Billy Rose rounding out the top 3. Ashley Beard just pulling away at the mate. He's a little bit out of position currently after that big reverse grid we saw once again for race 3. Of course, sunset conditions for this race, as you see all the drivers slalom down the pit straight. Well, nice battle between Billy Rose and Craig Cameron currently for 3rd position. Cameron just moving up into 3rd position as I speak. So the Northern Lights Racing drive into the podium places, but back comes down the inside. These two are teammates, I believe. And Cameron just about pulling ahead once again. And Rose, after leading, at least in 2nd position in the early stages, going to lose another position now to James McRitchie, who again had a poor race too. So one of the quickest drivers out on the circuit, but could be a dangerous one here. Trying to go down the middle. That's not going to work into that corner. Very wide for Rose, and he is going to lose that position finally. Drops down into 5th place.
Yes, I don't know if that was intentional, because he did run. It looked to me as if he ran wide a little bit intentionally there. But they are going to get their way back through, and they're all just cycling through right now. And we're going to drop back even farther here. This is a long, long train of cars. We'll just jump over here. Let's see the chopper cam, just to kind of see how long this is actually. You can see that it's pretty much just a snake as they head down the infield straightaway. One of the second longest straightaway on the track. Nice, good overtaking opportunity down into the very, very fast left-hander. So these drivers, as you can see, I think that is Van Essen on the outside now. Hampson will have the inside, so Hampson should be able to make a move. Joe McDonald's already made that move up, but now Hampson has the inside here for the next corner. He'll be down the inside of McDonald, so he'll try to make up the 2 moves that he just lost, and he is able to do so. Jason Cooper also on the move. He's moving up a little bit. Look at the gaps and the gains of all the drivers now. So you see, not as big as we've seen in the first race. By this point in the first race, we'd already seen quite a few drivers making up a lot of positions. This race, everything's being a bit more calm. Biggest mover right now is Adam McNally at 17 spots gained. So he's doing a nice job to gain up a lot of spots off the line.
Nick McCann currently going side by side with Is that Christian Brown just behind him? It is. McKern with a nice start himself, up 10 places. Yasser Sebula up 10 places, just ahead of these drivers. Carstensen, who's had a little bit of, at least had a difficult race one, not quite sure what happened to him in race 2, but he's trying to come back up 15 places ahead of Adam Delmont. And you see just how incredibly wide the circuit is. It's so difficult to defend around here, because to cover the entire circuit with this MX5 car is very difficult to do, but doing a decent job of it there was Carstensen. Van Gool down the inside of Malcolm. And next up for him will be Liam Silkston.
Mikey Key down the inside there. Steve Hefford. Hefford is going to be able to make that one stick. But then he's got Max Bohr also trying to make the move on him. But he is going to defend from him nicely. Currently your leader in the AMS is Billy Rose. He is running up in 7th place. But he does have, he is at the back of the group of the drivers. Everyone up 6th place and higher, they are pro. So the top 6 is now dominated by the pro drivers. So the pro drivers that started a bit at the back and stayed at the back would have had a bit of a better time in gaining themselves back to the front in this race, as they would be starting closer to the front. I think that's kind of why we're seeing a little bit of smaller gains being made, as most of the pro drivers. Oh, and that's
McRitchie.
James McRitchie into the wall, and he's into the wall hard.
Oh, I got side by side as well for 2nd place. Craig Cameron going past Adrian Hendy. They are dead level as we start lap 4 of this race. Cameron versus Hendy. Cameron on the inside, Hendy on the outside, and Craig Cameron moves up a position. So Hendy started on pole position, dropping back a little bit, but a podium is still possible for him. Has got Rizzo and Cooper though behind him, who are of course rapid drivers. Side by side between Summers.
Summers down the inside of Delmont. He's going to try to hang it. He's not going to be able to do it. Yes, he is. No contact made there. And Delmont, though, is going to have the better run, being that he is on the inside. Adam Delmont now going to try to move himself up. Billy Rose losing a couple of positions as he runs wide. So Rose not having the best of starts. Now he's falling back into the clutches of Martin Sampson, who is really, really close there. To the back of Billy Rose now. So Rose really, it's not what he wanted, obviously. Now he is right into his competitor's arms and getting close, and he's big twitch there. So that should give Sampson a good run as they head down now. Down the straightaway as Rose is into the wall, and he's over. Rose is on his roof, and that is a big incident for him.
Just catching that fence a little bit. And it's such a unique kind of wall as such, and has its unique characteristics. And over he went, almost ended up in the car park there. If that was real life, I think. So a real disappointment for him. Going back to McNally, and yeah, he's in this battle with Summers. Had a little bit of a subdued race so far. I've seen him make a few positions, but he's actually down 3 places from his start, whilst Delmont is up 13. So Delmont got back past him then on this lap. A nice 4-way battle here. If these guys stop fighting each other, then they could well catch up to the drivers ahead. Carl Yakolet, who's had a pretty good day, and he's just yeah, moving up ahead of Scott Malcolm.
McDonald also there. He had a bit of contact. I couldn't quite tell who that was, but he did have some big rear end contact. Someone definitely hit him up the back. Very hard indeed. As Charlie Summers down the inside of Delmont. Summers to the inside, Delmont on the outside, and that's going to be a nice easy move for Charlie Summers. But Delmont is going to try and send it down the inside. He's not going to be able to make it work. And Adam McNally also just looking on the outside in of this battle. Stephen Baxter there as well. So should hopefully be able to have a nice battle with these drivers. That battle is definitely starting to form up, and it's starting to form up quickly. Battle for fourth place, though, still not over.
Yeah, this one is really forming up, because you got Hendy at the front of it, who's the probably the slowest driver out of these guys, and then you got Rizzo, Cooper, Sebula, McKern, McRitchie, Beard, Carstensen, Browns, and Sampson, all in a train. Here comes Cooper down the inside of Rizzo. This is for 4th position, which could turn turn into 3rd position, because should be able to catch up to Hendy by the end of the race. Really wide there for SimLab driver, and just getting caught out on the grass. Slightly unique grass there. It's about a foot above the actual race circuit, so you really don't want to dip a wheel onto it. Sebula, half a chance down the inside, taking a very tight line there, almost flat out, still through that fast left-hander. And now down the inside. Really good run for Yaroslav. He's up 12 places already. He's trying to make up his 13th. We take advantage of scattering a few of these cones perhaps at this final corner. They're absolutely obliterating them there, but he hasn't got the run. And instead, it's actually Cooper's teammates. Sorry, it's actually the SimLab driver just behind of Nick McCann, who's got the run down into turn 1.
Yeah, so McCarron has the run down into turn 1, and he is going to be able to cleanly go by Sebula there. And Sebula, though, is going to try and send around the outside. He's going to run wide, and that's not going to be able to make that one work. So Sebula now drops himself down into the 7th position. Still running a good race, though, inside the top 10. The first AM driver right now of Martin Sampson runs in 12th place. Nils Carstensen there and James McRitchie there in a battle. McRitchie on the high line. Carstensen running that low line. That should give him a nice run through the corner, but then it's not going to be so great going down into the braking zone. But it will be McRitchie still able Carstensen, sorry, still able to hang on to that position. He's now at the back of the train that leads him up to 4th place, Luke Cooper, who right now is just leading by about second over Cesar Rizzo. But Cooper, though, also closing in quite rapidly on Adrian Hendy, so we'll be keeping an eye out on that battle to see if he is able to move up. As McCarron now down the inside of Rizzo, and it should be able to make that move done. Yes, he does, as that is Rizzo almost into the side of Sebula there. So Ashley Beard and Niels Carstensen able to benefit from that one, but Sebula will be down the inside of Carstensen. This is a nice opportunity for him, and they will be side by side in the exit. Sebula will have the inside line. Carstensen's going to have to try to do the switchback move. He's not going to be able to get that one done, as that's McCarron with a big slide. Actually, sorry about that. That was James McRitchie with a humongous slide. And that was a big slide for him.
Yeah, almost lost the car completely. Disappointing for Sebula because he was defending really well prior to that, and then just a little bit of contact. Now you can see Sebula with the slipstream, Carstensen without it, but Carstensen still with some terrific straight line speed. I don't know quite how he's going that fast, now starting to lose that advantage. All up to the driver just ahead of them to decide who gets the toe there. And Carstensen on the inside for this one, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 2. And he can't make it done. So, up 19 places, but once again, Sebula, very good defending around this circuit. He clearly knows where to position his car into each one of these corners. There's a spinner there. Adrian Hendy from 3rd position, and he's gone round. Nick McCann, by the way, is up into 3rd position, so I wonder if there was maybe some contact with Cooper and Hendy. We might have to have a look at that after the race, because that could be really decisive. Cooper looking as though he was going to easily get that 3rd position, but now it's McCarron who's up 14 places, and well, I don't feel as though he's done too many fantastic overtakes, just picked up on the spins from other drivers.
Yeah, and I mean, that's totally easy to do, especially for those drivers. If you can just keep your nose clean, and that's Carstensen almost putting it into the barriers, and that is also going to be Sebula with a nice run, but Cooper's going to look down the inside of McCarron. Not going to be able to get the move done. But back to what I was saying, though, it is so easy just to kind of just sit back and have a clean race, and you'll be able to move up a lot of spots, especially if a lot of those drivers are having big contact and things like that early on in the race. If you can just keep your nose clean, which is just exactly what Luke Cooper's done, then you should be able to move yourself up quite a few positions quite quickly. So he's done a great job there just to keep his nose clean and move himself up. Hendy now looking down the inside of Delmont, looking to move himself back into the 12th position after he had that spin. Going to try to queue up a replay for you just after the race and see if we can't see exactly what happened between the two of them that caused him to spin around.
Hendy struggling out of the final corner. So Baxter, McNally and Sampson as well, all queuing up. McNally with a nice race, by the way, up 17 positions for him. And Hendy, no slipstream whatsoever for him, and really losing. Hendy, apologies, did have the slipstream, so just about pulls ahead of Baxter into turn 2, and the 33 car staying ahead for now. Back to this big battle. So McKern leading the way here, Cooper, Rizzo, and then it's Beard side by side with Carstensen. He's yes, just struggled to make these final few moves, but could still be a fantastic result for Niles, one of the best drivers in the series, no doubt about that. Round the outside into this one, he'll have the inside for turn 7, I believe. And he just about squeezes his way through. Credit there to the driver that he just overtook, because could have certainly closed the door there, could Ashley Beard. Beard just using a little bit of grass on the exit, gets a nice exit. And down into turn 10, he's going to have a chance. Of course, none of these corners with any cornering, so it's very difficult to know which one is which. As, yeah, just staying ahead, in fact. So Carstensen still struggling to make these overtakes. Just shows the competitiveness of everyone else in this field.
Yeah, we will stay with this battle. This is the best battle right now on the racetrack, the closest battle. There is some battles a little bit further back. We'll try to get to those once these drivers do cross the line. But it will be Jack Ashton out of the final corner by 4 seconds. He will win over Craig Cameron. He's already weaving as he knows that he's got the race won. And Craig Cameron will come home in second place. Nick McCarron will come home just 0.8 of a second ahead of Luke Cooper and Ashley Beard, having to defend there from the driver of Niels Carstensen. They're going to be able to drag race down the line. Rizzo giving the slipstream to Beard, and they're going to bang doors down to the line, and it's going to be Niels Carstensen. I don't know how close that was. I know it was 0.00 on our timing screens. It's down to the 100ths of a second, and Brian Holmes also able to just barely get over Steve Hefford. Some really, really close finishes. Jason Cooper only up 14 spots. He moved up quite a bit more in the first race as well. Wouter van Essen up 20 spots. Let's try to see who your biggest mover in this race was of the drivers. Currently, it is the driver of Niels Carstensen. So Carstensen was your biggest mover there in this race. A nice job to him. And also who had the fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race will be a driver semi in the middle.
I think it was Jack Ashton.
It may have been Jack Ashton. Let me try and cue that up.
Very close for the fast lap. Ashton was a 55.69. Yeah, also Niles Carstensen with a 55.71. So you think if Carstensen had a little bit more free air, could have certainly have claimed that one.
Yeah, definitely could have claimed that one had he had a little bit more. But the race results are up on your screen right now.
Awesome. Well, Jack Ashton, winner in the end of race 3, and that's just what he needed after a disappointing race 2. Craig Cameron, good second place there. Got a good start. Got up to in second place nice and quick. And converted it into a very good result in the end for the 101 driver. Nick McCann, nice drive from 17th on the grid to a podium. Luke Cooper, nice 4th place there for him. Cesar Rizzo finished in 5th with Niles Carstensen, up 22 places, up into 6th. Ashley Beard finished in 7th with Yasser Sebula in 8th. There's James McRitchie, Christian Brown rounding out the top 10. Then it was Charlie Summers finishing where he started. Adam Delmont, Adrian Hendy from the pole position and a potential podium as well, but spun out on lap 7 of the race. Adam McNally was in 14th with Steve Baxter in 15th. There was Martin Sampson, Carl Yacolet, Max Wright, Brian Holmes, Steve Hefford. Liam Silkston, according to, yeah, I think the last race is going to be
live.
night. Oh.
Okay. So we should be back here. Sorry about that. When we are having a bit of issues with the Restream server. I'm just gonna go to YouTube during the break. So once we do get to the break, we'll jump over to YouTube and just we'll let you run through the grid. Don't quite know exactly or run through the results as I do get the reverse group back up. I'll quickly let you run through those.
Yes, it was Jack Ashton winning, Craig Cameron 2nd, and Nick McCann rounding out the podium. And then it was Luke Cooper, Cesar Rizzo, Niles Carstensen, Ashley Beard, Yasser Chebula, James McRitchie, Christian Brown, Charlie Summers, Adam Delmont, Adrian Hendy, Adam McNally, Steve Baxter, Martin Sampson, Carl Yacolet, Max Wright, Brian Holmes, and Steve Hefford rounding out the top 20. And then it was Liam Silkson, Jason Cooper, Charles Kellyman, Scott Malcolm, Wouter van Essen, David Ayres, Mikey Key, David Hampson, Kip Stevens, Stuart Dick, Jamie Ayres, Rafe Cullinan, Ewan Ursum, Benjamin Mears, Pete Van Gool, Carl Hardy, Andy Maxwell, Joe McDonald, Ben Sharp, Roy Viverke, Rob Graham, and Michael Barry. That was all the drivers on the lead lap. 1 lap down and will be eligible for the reverse grid, I believe. Will be Max Bohr. And then the retirees were Billy Rose and Josh Rafel. Only 2 retirees in 45 drives. Not bad.
Definitely not bad at all, as we just run through the final bit there. And we'll go ahead and switch over to reverse grid. And we'll roll the wheel here and see who is going to be on pole here for the final race of the evening. And it will be a full -2. So it'll be a -2 on the reverse grid there, which will put
Roy Viverke on pole position. Apologies, it'll be Rob Graham, I believe. I think Max Bohr is eligible for the reverse grid, so I think it'll be Rob Graham on the pole position with Roy Viverke alongside him on the front row of the grid.
And yes, I believe you are correct about that one. So we hopefully we'll be back. So we should be back here in just a few moments' time here on the iRacing Esports Network and on Apex Racing TV here for the final race of the evening for the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Don't go anywhere.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We're just preparing for race 4 of the evening, the final race of the evening for this Indianapolis round. And so far, Tyler, we've seen some pretty good action around this place, and I think 3 different race winners so far. And I reckon after another big reverse grid, we're going to see a 4th.
I would definitely not count it out. We should see some absolutely incredible action here for the final race of the evening. And this is usually whenever everything gets kicked off with all the drivers, because they don't have anything really left to run for in the week. It's pretty much every man for himself out on the track and not many. And we usually see some good action, some big incidents sometimes here in this final race of the evening. So wouldn't be surprised if we do see a big crash in the first few laps of the race. But as we just wait on the session to finish up, then we will get into the grid here for the final race of the evening, and the grid is just about available.
Yes, and on pole position for this final race of the evening is Rob Graham. Robbie Verke starts in 2nd place with Ben Sharp in 3rd, and then it's Joe McDonald in 4th, Andy Maxwell in 5th, Carl Hardy starts in 6th, with Pete Spangool in 7th, then it's Ben Mears in 8th, Ewan Ursum in 9th, Ralph Cullinan in 10th, then it's Jamie Ayres, Stuart Dick, Kip Stevens, David Hampson, Mikey Key, David Ayres, Wout van Essen, Scott Malcolm, Charles Kellyman, and Jason Cooper rounding out the top 20. Once again, got a massive field of MX5s, as you can probably see from the grid that you're currently looking at now. 45 drivers once again lighting up this Indianapolis bike circuit. And yeah, it does look absolutely spectacular. Of course, the iRacing dynamic time of day, and it does look superb, especially around these lit up oval circuits. Here we go then. Rob Graham from the pole position, Roy Verke from 2nd place. Race 4 of the evening is go.
A good start there from all the drivers as they just get away now, and we head down into the very, very hard turn 1. Will be Ben Sharp, who will slot himself up into 2nd place, it looks like, just about. So Ben Sharp slotting himself up into 2nd place. Roy Verke down the inside, though, and he will be able to get himself up. So Sharp up into 2nd. That's someone off there in the background. Van Gool is off as a slot their way through the very center of the racetrack. We'll see if everyone is able to make it through cleanly. And from what it looks like, as well as one driver, so one driver's over almost on their roof, but everyone pretty much working, going through their good, except for Van Essen. So pretty much everyone getting through cleanly, but Rob Graham is having to defend here from Ben Sharp.
Yep, under big pressure. So he had, I think, Rizzo, Hendy, McRitchie, Sampson, and Benesson, and also Maxwell as well, getting poor starts. So those could be early retirees. But Graham under big pressure. I believe Graham won race 2, perhaps, of today's evening. And here we go, down into turn 10. Very close between Graham and Sharp. Sharp just going to the outside and almost making that move there, side by side for the race lead. But Graham just about pulls ahead at the moment. You can see a big queue of cars, a little bit of a gap between 4th and 5th. That's Peter Van Gool versus Jamie Ayres up 6 places so far, one of the biggest gainers so far in this field. As once again we go through these several left-handers, 3 in a row. And half a chance maybe to gain a few positions. Also good start for Stuart Dick, he's up 5 places. Steve Hefford up 9 places. So about to start the charge down the pit straight. About to start lap 2 as Ben Mears runs very wide into the wall, and that could be serious steering damage for him. Out in the lead, Graham and Sharp are really close still. 4 wide here. This is for, 9th position, just sketching a little bit across. That could have been disaster right at the start of lap 2. All getting the slipstream on one another. I think out of all of that, it was Stuart Dick maybe pulling ahead.
And I believe you were right about that one, but Ben Sharp has slotted himself up into the lead. So Ben Sharp, as we were focused on that battle, is slotted himself up in the lead. That's now Rob Graham down into 2nd place. And Peter Van Gool, your highest pro driver, is in 3rd place. So don't count him out for a win. But he's got Jamie Ayres closing in on him. Ayres making the move there on Roy Ververke. So Ayres is definitely now going to be able to challenge his teammate Peter Van Gool for the lead in the pro drivers. And possibly even in just a few moments' time be able to actually challenge for the lead of the race overall. For those of you who don't know, there's a reverse grid in this race if you're just now tuning in. So the drivers in the pro standings do have to start just a bit farther back, and the whole grid does get very, very mixed up indeed, as Steve Hefford trying to make the move, trying to actually hang around the outside there. Ralph Cullinan down the inside, and I think that Hefford, though, is just going to be able to get it done, as he does have the inside there for the next corner, and is able to squeeze him out.
Yes, so Hefford up 12 places now, so certainly a man on a mission. Jern Ursum, leader of the standings, he's only just ahead of him. Ursum's had a bit of a rubbish day, but trying to recover some points late on here, sideways there. I think that was Mears perhaps just going past Hampson, it sure was. Penultimate corner. Mears will actually lose that side-by-side advantage and has to slot in behind. Out in the lead, it's kind of spread out a little bit. You've got a close gap between Graham and Van Gool currently, but that's pretty much it. Nice pack there, just on the inside of the circuit. I think that's Cullinan, Stevens, Ursum. Pretty much the same guys that we saw in this exact formation on the previous lap. They're not letting anyone go. And round the outside, pulling ahead, I think was Cullinan then. Round the outside, fantastic run for him. Almost a bit of contact there with Steve Hefford only just behind. Kip Stevens is 3rd in that queue. And then we go a little bit further back. Ursum now starting to drop down the order a little bit. He's down 5 places from his start, with Mears only just on his tail.
Yeah, he really is. And Rob Graham right now under pressure from Peter Van Gool and Jamie Ayres. So the 2 drivers battling for the lead in the pros are soon about to be battling for the lead in the overall. So they may be able to get themselves up to Ben Sharp here in a few moments' time if they can just get by Rob Graham. But Graham is definitely not making it easy on him to get by. That lead, that battle for the mid-pack down in 10th through 13th is still not going anywhere. We're checking on that one here momentarily. We also have another battle here for 8th place in the pro standings, down to 12th place in the pro standings. Craig Cameron as well and Max Wright, they're also going for a bit of a battle. Cameron has to check up on that one to not get into the side of Max Wright, and that's going to help out Luke Cooper tremendously, as Cooper is going to go round the outside and try and swing it down the inside into the next corner. He will have the inside, so he should be able to make that move done, and he does.
Hardy with an off, so Carl Hardy's had a big off, and he's gone falling down the field. Also Ben Mears as well, going off the circuit. There he is, stuck on the apex. of one of the final few corners, does a turn, and well, I think everyone got through that all happy days. Charles Kellyman, he's not having a happy day. He's gone down, he's had another spin. Ursum then up into, well, it's actually still only in 14th place, so he hasn't really benefited from that too much. Yeah, here's Graham then, still holding back Van Gool, who, yeah, just cannot get that move done at the moment. Graham defending superbly, just getting a waft of that slipstream from Sharp. I think that's really helping him, as we see it's got significantly darker since we've started this race.
Yeah, we're just right on board here with Peter Van Gool. See if he's able to make the move stick here anywhere on Rob Graham. He's not able to make it. He does have his teammate behind him, so he doesn't have to worry about his teammate possibly diving it down the inside, as I'm sure his teammate Jamie Ayres as well wants to move himself up the order just a bit. You know that the two drivers probably will be working together, trying to get themselves up positions here. But Jason Cooper, he's moved himself to 4th place in the pro standings. Right now he's chasing down Joe McDonald, Ralph Cullinan. They're right now going side by side. It will be Cooper and Cullinan. Cooper into the side of Cullinan there just a bit, but McDonald will lead the train. Cullinan will be slot into 2nd, Cooper into 3rd. Cooper will just have to wait just a bit more time there to be able to do that. Max Bohr is as well. He's had some issues. He is down in last place and into the pit lane, it looks like. But Cooper down the inside. He almost goes down the inside of Joe McDonald as well, but he's not able to do so. Actually checks him up just enough for Cullinan to be able to hang it around the outside and keep 9th place for now. But Jason Cooper, definitely one of the quickest drivers here. Would be surprised if he's able to move himself up. But Joe McDonald, a little bit of a mistake there at the final corner that's going to give Cullinan that little bit of an advantage. Cooper going with Cullinan there to try, and he's actually going to make it 3 wide. He's going to go down the middle of both of them.
Awesome momentum there for Jason Cooper, and he's going to get that one done surely. Cullinan will try to stick it down the inside, but I think that's all done and dusted, as it is for 2nd place, because Peter Van Gool is up into 2nd place now, ahead of Rob Graham. Got the move done down the pit straight, and now it's Sharp, Ayres, Van Gool and Graham. So sorry, Ayres managed to get past both Van Gool and Graham into turn 1. So pretty spectacular from him, and he's now within a 2nd of the race lead. It could be a fantastic race for him. As we go back to this battle, Craig Cameron and several others, it's safe to say. David Ayres as well.
As we see a lot of drivers out there on the battle sheet and across pretty much everyone, with some very, very, very close between pretty much everyone out on the racetrack right now. Not really anyone over half a second separation. There's a couple of big separation points, but most everyone in these groups really, really close. Liam Silkston and Ashley Beard. Beard's going to go look down the inside now, try to make the move. He is going to be able to get that one done. I don't think that Silkston will be able to hang around the outside. He's not able to, and he is moved himself now, Ashley Beard, up into 23rd place. He hasn't had the best of starts there, but Jack Ashton, he's around. Jack Ashton's around. And as well, I think that's Josh Rayfield's around as well. So those two drivers both round. And Jason Cooper actually doing a good job. He's now up to 6th place and just about chasing down Stuart Dick, Ralph Cullinan, and Joe McDonald. That battle's still not going anywhere. Well, let's jump back here to the battle for 5th place. It is Stuart Dick and Jason Cooper. Let's right on board with Cooper as he's going to dive it now down the inside, down on a turn number 1. And he's going to get the move done. Wow, that was a big send there from Dick. He wasn't able to get it done, and it's now going to be Cooper up into the 5th spot. So Cooper is definitely on the charge forward now. It's going to be very difficult to catch that lead group, but if they do start battling, definitely don't count him out.
Yes, he's the man with the momentum at the moment. Almost one of the fast laps of the race as well, 56.36, only bettered, I think, by Ben Sharp out in the lead. And that's kind of because Sharp has had a completely free air for the majority of the race. And actually, he's been able to repel the attack from Jamie Ayres. Was only 2/10 slower on that last lap, and still with a 1.1 second lead. So Sharp edging closer to that race when we saw an AM driver win race 4 at Silverstone last week. I think we might see the same thing today for Ben Sharp. The field is starting just to spread out a tad, I guess. But so got this nice battle. Also got Key, Carstensen, Hardy, Summers, Baxter, Delmont, and throwing maybe McNally as well, just at the rear of this train as well. Carstensen trying to go down the inside of Key. This is a little bit further up the road, with McDonald's going past. Yeah, and Carstensen and Hefford involved in this one.
And as they just get slot their way in, it is Hampson that will lead that little battle. But Ayers right now is only 8 tenths of a second behind Sharp. But Sharp is doing a nice job just to hang out ahead. Just that little bit. He's got the gap to a second now. So Sharp is definitely holding his own here as they work their way down to 2 laps to go here at Indianapolis, here for the final race. You can see how dark it's gotten here on the front straightaway. It just goes to show how dark this Indianapolis circuit can get in such a short amount of time. But Charlie Summers now going to look to the inside here on Mikey Key. We'll see if he's able to make the move stick down into turn number 1. The Swift Cooper Esports driver trying to make the move. And I think that he's just going to be able to get that done. Yeah, Key is just going to back out of it and concede the position there. And that's also going to be Steven Baxter down the inside as well. Adam Delmont will make the move. So Mikey Key really giving up some time there. And yeah, now Adam Delmont is able to complete the move. So Mikey Key losing a lot of spots there down in turn 1.
Down into 17th place, only 2 paces slower than where he started, but still not a fantastic few corners for him. Jason Cooper falling, just getting past of Graham, apologies. Graham started on pole position, of course. Still could be a decent points haul for Graham. A first, I believe he got earlier on, and now a 5th place as well would be some handy points for his AM championship. But you can see Cooper straight away sprinting away. Sharp and Ayres, half a second. Now the gap between the two of them. How many more laps have we got to do? In fact, next lap is going to be the last lap for these drivers. So he hasn't got too long to get this one done. But that run to the line is always a possibility. So it's not a case of he's got to get it done. At least he's got a few miles to get it done. And if he can just get a good run out to the final corner on the last lap, he will have a very good chance at just nicking it right at the line. I've seen some classic finishes here at Indianapolis over the years. I think we might be in for another one.
Yeah, we certainly could be in for another one as they work their way onto the front straightaway now for the final lap of this race. But this is another battle here. Cameron on Ashley Beard, and that is McNally going wide there, and that's now going to allow Luke Cooper through. That's for 12th place in the AMs. McNally, though, is going to have the inside. He's going to be able to hold off Luke Cooper. And I think that is Carl Hardy. They're just getting overtaken by Ashley Beard. Craig Cameron as well trying to come through that. But Rob Graham battling here with Stuart Dick. And will Graham just be ahead of Dick as they head down through Roy Ververke as well. He is in 3rd place right now. 4th place, sorry, for the AMs. Ben Sharp is an AM driver, I do believe, but is not being counted right now. That is a slow driver of Holmes. So he will hopefully not impede these drivers here as they work their way through onto the final, through the final lap of the race. And yeah, really, really close. Jamie Ayres starting to really close that gap up, but he doesn't have much time to do it.
Yeah, he's got to really get a nice slipstream from turns 9 down into turn 10, because that's really the only, that's really the last straightaway before the stretch to the line. But a nice run actually there for Ayres. He closed in by a couple of tenths of a second through that kind of 3 apex chicane. And now into 10 second, very early apex, maybe just trying to put his rival off a little bit, trail breaking into that corner. Ayres is edging closer and closer, different lines. You can see these drivers taking such long radius corners here at Indianapolis. And Ayres just dropping back a little bit on the exit. He's actually lost about 1.5 tenths through that section of corners, and he is losing a chance at maybe winning this race. You can see he's taking early apex after early apex, and through that corner, he does gain a couple of tenths of a second. It's, yeah, really swinging either way, but 4 tenths of a second on the run to line, and I don't think Ayres is going to have a big enough slipstream effect to challenge his rival across the line. It's going to be Ben Sharp, who starts this race in 3rd position, and he is going to win race 4 at Indianapolis, and he wins round 72 of the season. That is the halfway mark of the season. Congratulations to Ben Sharp. Cooper rounded out the podium. Really close across the line between Stevens and Cullinan, but Stevens just about winning out there. Also close between Hefford and Carstensen, but Carstensen winning out there. And here comes McCarron.
On the run down the line, he's just going to be ahead of him. Another almost identical finish there between them as they all work their way now onto the front straightaway and into turn one here for the final time tonight. And that is it for the final race of the evening. As we've also got another one, Christian Brown. He will get just ahead of James McRitchie. But everyone finishes out tonight. That will be it here for the final race of the evening. Let's get a couple replays of some of the action points in this race before we run through the final race results of the evening. Let's see what's happened here to Michael Berry. Supposedly he had a crash as just drops a wheel there. See if that is actually a crash or if he's just had a bit of an off. And yes, he does. See, he's had a bit of a slide there. Let's check out what happened here to Charles Kellyman. Apparently he had a bit of an incident. Yep, and that is his spin onto the front straightaway. That cost him a lot of time. Jason Cooper as well, another incident that he possibly had out there on the racetrack. And not seeing anything from that one.
Yeah, Cooper finished in third place in the end, so seemingly got away without any issues there.
Yeah, so I was just, that was exactly why I was trying to check out that replay, because I was going to say, if he did have an incident, he either recovered extremely well from it, or he didn't have that bad of an incident. But Jack Ashton, again, just cycling through some of the crash points on the software just to see if there's any action that we missed out there. Doesn't look like it. And it seems to be that one just as a hotspot for picking up those incidents. So I think that it's safe to say we can go ahead and jump into the final race results of the evening here tonight. Race results now up on your screen.
Yes, and it's Ben Sharp winning out. I think that's 4 different winners to date, which is pretty much what we expected. But nice job there for Ben Sharp, holding off Jamie Ayres by half a second in the end. They were quite far ahead of Jason Cooper in the end in third place. Pete Van Gool finished in fourth. Then Rob Graham rounding out the top 5. Then Stuart Dick, Kip Stevens, Rafe Cullinan, Roy Verke, and David Hampson rounding up the top 10. Then behind that was Niles Carstensen, Steve Hefford, Charlie Summers, Steve Baxter, Joe McDonald, Adam McNally, Luke Cooper, Craig Cameron, Ashley Beard, and Nick McCann, rounding up the top 20. And then it's Carl Hardy, Liam Silkston, David Ayres, Michael Key, Julian Ursum, Yaroslav Sebula, Max Wright, Scott Malcolm, Jack Ashton, Billy Rose, Adrian Hendy, Charles Kellyman, Cesar Rizzo, Christian Brown, James McRitchie, Josh Rayfield, and Andy Maxwell. Those were the drivers on the lead lap. Then 1 lap down were Delmont and Mears. 2 laps down was Brian Holmes, and then the retirees effectively were Michael Barry, Carl Yacolet, Max Bohr, Wouter Van Essen, and Martin Sampson. Rounding out the 45 cars. Another fantastic turnout in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. At the moment, we don't have any interviews, but that gives us an opportunity, Tyler, to discuss the next round of the championship, which will be at a circuit that you're quite a big fan of. It'll be at the Charlotte Roval.
Yes, one of my favorite circuits on the entire iRacing service is the Charlotte Roval, and cannot wait to head to that circuit. It's one of the more challenging circuits, for sure, being that it is a Roval and it is a true Roval with the curbs being just so high there. All these drivers will have an amazing battle, I'm sure, as we see every week, but I'm sure that battle will still be absolutely wonderful at the Roval. Should come up with some great racing from all the drivers. So they should be a good race there in the end. So super excited for that one, as we do have a couple drivers now in the interview room.
Yes, who are we going to have a chat with? I think we'll have a chat with Ben Sharp first. because he was your race 4 winner. And Ben, congratulations. That was a really hard-earned win because Jamie was catching you near the end.
Yeah, he put me under a lot of pressure, and I was really trying not to crack and stick to my lines. So he kept trying to coming really deep to the corners, and I was just trying to stick to get the exit and pull away. And the tactic worked really because he was never close enough where the draft could get him by. So he put me under a lot of pressure though.
Absolutely. We saw this is a unique circuit and a circuit that we don't visit too much across the season, or in too many championships. But how did you find the racing lines out there? Were you trying to copy a few other guys? Because we saw around these long radius corners, everyone seemed to have a different idea of what was the fastest way.
Well, I've done the AM championship yesterday, so it gave me a good idea of what to do. And then the pro boys were another second and a bit up the road from what we were doing yesterday. So I copied a couple of things I saw them doing in practice, which helped a lot, but didn't really improve my pace much. I'm struggling to go any quicker, but I just had a lucky race there and managed to stay out front.
Yeah, it was certainly very impressive. Then, how did your other 3 races go in the end?
Not so well. I was a naughty boy last time I raced, so a few penalties, so I had to start from the back of the grid for the first 3 races. So literally the first time I started 3rd in that one. So yeah, not the best in the other 3 races really, but they're all clean and good, so I shouldn't have any more penalties going forward.
Absolutely. Should have a good position for the next race, which will be at the Charlotte Roval, a track that I don't believe this series has ever visited before.
No,
Another
I don't believe
Roval.
so.
How will that be?
I'm not sure. I've never been to that track, so me and the Fury Simsport guys will have to get down and do a load of practice ready for next week whenever we get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to chat to you, Ben. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Just like big thanks out to Year One for the sponsorship for the flip flops and stuff. So big thanks out to them guys. Big thanks to everyone at Fury Simsport for having me as part of their team. So
Thanks, Ben, and we'll see you next week.
see you later.
We're also going to have a chat with Adam McNally. And Adam, how did your 4 races go out there, and how did you find this Indianapolis bike circuit?
It's a very technical circuit, but I had a good 4 races really. 4th in race 1, 9th race 2, 14th and 16th. But just the battles were epic round here. Like unbelievable. Like I said, the circuit's so technical, it's so hard to run side by side. And sometimes the actual outside line favours you better than the inside line for passing. So it just mixed it all up.
Yeah, it looked really action-packed out there. In the championship after that, you were 7th place in the championship, and I think you may have gained a couple of places. So a very positive day.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, just solid points all night. 4 finishes, which usually doesn't happen for us at the minute. Seem to only have the luck of finishing 3. But like I said, happy to move up the championship as well, gain some more points.
And how did you find race 4 out there? It got quite dark quite quickly. How did you find the lighting around the circuit?
Oh, I actually thought it was all right. The last lap was, I think, definitely the difficultest to see. But for actually being able to see your braking zone, see your apexes, it was relatively all right.
And yeah, next week we head to another Roval. It is the Charlotte course, the new one. Have you got any experience around that track?
No, not that I know of, unless I've raced it before. But obviously, if it's a new layout, then definitely not. But the Roval tracks actually make for some good racing. Especially in these little MX5s, you get a bit slipstream. There's loads of tight, twisty turns in them. So it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, should be fantastic fun when we visit that next week. Is there anyone you'd like to thank, Adam, before we let you go?
Yeah, just a big shout out to Excite Energy for backing the team. We're going to the British Drift Championship with them next weekend at the NEC, Birmingham. So it should be good fun. We've got Motorsport Days Live, Pre-Or Premature Baby Foundation, Racer Mentor, Luxim 24 in the SG UK. And obviously a big shout out to you for doing the broadcasts and everyone who does the work behind the scenes.
Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you next week, Adam.
Right, thanks for having us.
I think we're going to have one last interview and we're going to have a chat with Scott Malcolm. And Scott, at least from what I saw out there, you seem to be pretty consistent. You seem to be kind of 4th or 5th in the AM standings all the way through. A pretty good day for you.
Yeah, it was not too bad considering I had a missing qualifying and a pit lane start in race 2 that I nearly forgot all about. But it was pretty good considering I did 2 penalties.
For Result Clothing, I'm just looking at the Drivers' Championship at the minute, and Result Clothing are doing extremely well. For the Teams Championship, is that your main aim, or maybe winning the AM Championship? Is that your main aim for the rest of the season?
My aim at the beginning of the season was to make it the AM Showdown, and then help the team win the AM Championship as well. So far it's going to plan. Whether it happens, we don't know yet. We're just going. There's a long, long way to go.
Yes, absolutely. We're now halfway through the championship, and kind of how would you assess how's it gone, and how's the championship been on the whole in terms of kind of the driving standards and stuff?
The standards have been pretty good, I think. Wee bit, a lot of inexperience for some guys, for some other people, and that. I think the general driver has been pretty good. Obviously, you've got the fast guys. They'll just fly away for you, and you just say bye. There you go. But you just got to know your limits and race against the guys that's round about you in the standings, and it's a case of do your stuff and see what it gets you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's certainly what you did today, Scott. Been great to chat to you as always. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Epic Racing for putting on the broadcasts, you for taking your time for commenting on it, Result Clothing, and everybody else, all the drivers, for hanging about and racing and having.
Thanks, Scott, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that pretty much concludes our interviews. And Tyler, a successful day today. I'm not a massive fan of this track, but I must say, I think it produced some really good racing. As a few of the drivers were saying, a lot of side by side, and there were plenty of places to make overtakes.
Yeah, exactly. There really were just a lot of places to make overtakes, and that's one thing that you will get with the Roval circuits is that it provides really, really good racing because a lot of times there are the longer straightaways, and the draft is just so massive that a lot of drivers it becomes really, really difficult to get away for a lot of the drivers. So yeah, it's just always great racing whenever we go to these Rovals, and cannot wait to go there 2 weeks in a row.
Yes, definitely. Really looking forward to that Charlotte Motor Speedway on the iRacing Esports Network next Tuesday evening in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Of course, if you enjoyed this video or you want to check out any other racing, of course, on the iRacing Esports Network, there's stuff from dirt racing to oval racing, road racing, GT cars, prototypes, all sorts, and certainly something to quench your driving thirst. Certainly do give a subscribe to the channel. Also, if you would be so kind to check out the Apex Racing TV channel as well. We just reached 7,000 subscribers earlier on today, so I certainly would appreciate you to help us out to maybe reach the next 1,000 milestone. But for now, from me and from Tyler as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.